The cost of living independently used to be measured in weekends, not in mortgages. 100 years ago, almost every rural American family had built at least 3 or 4 small structures on their property by hand. Not houses, not barns, smaller things, a smokehouse, a spring house, a cold cellar, a summer kitchen, an ice house, a bake oven in the backyard. Each one solved a specific problem that today gets solved by an appliance plugged into the wall, paid for monthly, and replaced every 15 years. That kind of practical self-sufficiency has not disappeared because the technologies stopped working. They still work. They have been working for thousands of years. They disappeared because suburban living, modern building codes, and the consumer appliance industry quietly made them invisible. A family with these structures on their property does not need to buy a freezer, does not need to run an air conditioner, does not need to depend on grocery stores for fresh food, and does not need a utility bill to cook a meal. In this video, we are walking through 5 small off-grid builds that any homeowner can complete in a weekend or a few weekends, with materials costing between $20 and $500. Each one solves a real problem. Each one has been used by humans for thousands of years. Each one has almost vanished from the American backyard. If you find these stories worth keeping alive, the kind of practical engineering that fed and protected our grandparents, subscribe to Cryptos. Every off-grid system we cover takes weeks of research from old farm manuals, archaeological journals, and field reports nobody else is reading. Your subscription tells the algorithm to keep this knowledge visible. Now let us go through them one by one. Number 1. The Solar Food Dehydrator. Imagine being able to preserve 100 pounds of tomatoes, peppers, mushrooms, apples, herbs, and even strips of meat for an entire winter, using nothing but the sun. A solar food dehydrator is a simple wooden box with 2 sections. The lower section is a tilted collector covered with glass or clear plastic, painted black on the inside. The sun heats the air inside the collector to 60 or 70 degrees Celsius. That hot air rises naturally through a duct into the upper section, which is a vented drying cabinet with mesh trays. Sliced food on the trays loses its moisture in a steady current of warm, dry air. In 6 to 12 hours of direct sun, fresh produce becomes shelf-stable food that lasts 6 to 12 months without refrigeration. Total material cost is between $40 and $80. Plywood 2x2s, a sheet of glass or polycarbonate, flat black paint, and window screen for the trays. The build takes a single Saturday for someone with basic tools. It's finished, it costs nothing to operate, forever. This is not new technology. Andean and Incan farmers were dehydrating potatoes and meat in solar dryers more than 4,000 years ago. Mediterranean peoples have dried tomatoes, figs, and grapes in the sun for over 3,000 years. Middle Eastern cultures dried apricots and dates the same way. The American homestead version, built into a wooden frame, dates back at least to the 1850s. It disappeared from American backyards when the home freezer became affordable in the 1950s. And the supermarket displaced home preservation as a household activity. But the technology never failed. It just stopped being taught. The single most common mistake first-time builders make is sealing the dehydrator too tightly. Air must flow continuously from the bottom of the collector through the drying cabinet and out the top vents. If there is no airflow, the food cooks instead of drying, and the moisture has nowhere to go. Vents at the top and bottom are not optional. They are how the system works. Number 2. The cooking rocket stove. Imagine cooking a full pot of stew for a family of 6 using nothing but a handful of dry twigs. The cooking rocket stove is a small portable version of the larger rocket mass heater. The combustion chamber is shaped like a horizontal letter J. Wood feeds in through a vertical opening on one side, burns sideways through an insulated tunnel, and the hot exhaust gases rise up through an insulated vertical chimney. The geometry creates an extremely powerful draft. Combustion temperatures inside the chamber exceed 800 degrees Celsius. The smoke itself burns. Almost no fuel is wasted. A pot or pan placed directly on the chimney top boils water in a few minutes, using only a few sticks of pencil-thick wood. A normal cooking session uses 70 to 80% less wood than an open campfire or a conventional wood stove. There is almost no smoke because complete combustion produces almost no particulate matter. Total material cost is below $30. The body can be built from concrete blocks, fired bricks, salvaged metal cans, or even stabilized cob. The build takes a single afternoon. The fuel is whatever fallen branches and prunings are available within a few meters of your back door. The cooking rocket stove was developed in the late 1970s and early 1980s by Larry Winiarski at the Aprovecho Research Center in Oregon. The original purpose was to reduce indoor smoke from cooking fires that were killing women and children across the developing world. Today, millions of households across Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia cook on rocket stoves daily. In American backyards, the technology is almost unheard of. The most common mistake is using fuel pieces that are too thick. Rocket stoves are designed for small diameter wood, wrist thick or smaller. If you load big logs, the geometry breaks down, the combustion stalls, and the stove smokes instead of burning clean. Number 3. The Zeer pot refrigerator. This is the one that almost no American has ever heard of, and it is the one that most directly competes with a modern appliance plugged into your wall. The Zeer pot is a refrigerator with no electricity. 2 unglazed terracotta pots, one nested inside the other, with a layer of damp sand filling the gap between them. The whole assembly is covered with a wet cloth. As water evaporates from the sand and the porous walls of the outer pot, evaporation absorbs heat. The interior of the inner pot drops 10 to 15 degrees Celsius below the surrounding air temperature. In a hot, dry climate, that means produce stored inside stays at refrigerator temperatures without consuming a single watt. A Zeer pot keeps tomatoes fresh for 3 weeks instead of 3 days, spinach for 12 days instead of 2, eggplants for nearly a month. The technology has been documented in Egypt for at least 5,000 years. Pottery archaeologists have found ancient Zeer-style cooling pots in tombs near Cairo dating back to the time of the pharaohs. In 2000, a Nigerian teacher named Muhammad Ba Abba won the Rolex Award for Enterprise for redistributing this technology to over 100,000 rural African households. The cost of his version was under $2 per unit. Subsistence farmers in Nigeria and Sudan went from losing most of their harvest to spoilage to selling fresh produce for weeks after harvest. It changed entire local economies. A backyard version in the United States costs under $20. 2 unglazed clay pots from any garden center, a bag of clean sand, a cloth, a bowl of water. Total assembly time is 15 minutes. The pot must sit in shade with steady airflow. The sand must be kept moist. That is all the maintenance there is. The reason this is functionally banned in most of America has nothing to do with the Zeer pot itself. It has to do with what surrounds it. Building codes treat outdoor food storage as restricted. Health departments require commercial food preparation surfaces to be FDA certified. HOAs prohibit visible non-standard structures in front yards or driveways. Combining all these restrictions, a household that wanted to use a Zeer pot as a primary refrigeration tool would face enough regulatory friction to make it impractical for daily use. But for personal use on private rural property with food grown in your own garden, the Zeer pot works. It works exactly as well today as it worked in Egypt 5,000 years ago. The most common mistake is using glazed clay pots instead of unglazed. The pots must be porous. Glaze prevents evaporation. The cooling stops working entirely. Ask the garden center specifically for unglazed terracotta. Number 4. The earth oven. Imagine baking pizza, sourdough bread, roasted meat, and even drying grain for storage, all in a structure built from dirt that you formed with your own hands. An earth oven is a dome-shaped wood-fired oven built from cob, which is a mixture of clay, sand, and straw. The base sits on a raised stone or brick platform. The dome itself is roughly 1 meter in diameter and 60 centimeters tall, with a small arched opening on one side for loading and unloading. A small fire built inside the dome heats the oven walls to roughly 450 degrees Celsius over the course of an hour or 2. Once the fire is raked out, the residual heat in the dense earthen walls cooks food for hours afterward. The first hour after the fire is hot enough for pizza. The next 2 hours are perfect for bread. The hours after that are ideal for slow roasting. The next 2 hours are perfect for bread. The hours after that are ideal for slow roasting. The final residual heat, sometimes lasting a full day, is enough to dry grains, roast nuts, or dehydrate fruit. Total material cost is below $100 if you can source clay and straw locally. Many rural properties already have suitable subsoil clay sitting under the topsoil. Build takes 2 or 3 weekends, mostly because cob needs to dry between layers. The result is an oven that produces restaurant-grade pizza, bread, and roasts using nothing but firewood, with zero electricity, gas, or specialized equipment. Earth ovens have been built by humans for at least 30,000 years. Egyptian, Roman, Persian, Indian, Mexican, Peruvian, Italian, French, and Polish traditions all develop local variations of the same basic dome. Modern American backyards rarely have one because outdoor fire features are restricted by HOAs in most suburbs and require permits in many counties. The most common mistake is making the cob mixture too wet or too dry. The right consistency is closer to thick clay than to mortar. If it is too wet, the dome sags during construction. If it is too dry, the cob cracks as it cures and the oven leaks heat. A small test patch before building the full dome saves a lot of frustration. Number 5. The spring house. This is the one that survived the longest in rural America. Some still stand on old farm properties in Pennsylvania, Virginia, the Ozarks, and Appalachia. Most have been forgotten. Spring house is a small structure built directly over a natural spring or a flowing cold water source. The floor of the structure is a stone or concrete trough that the spring water flows through continuously. The walls are typically stone, brick, or thick cob. The roof is solid and shaded. As cold spring water flows through the floor at temperatures between 5 and 12 degrees Celsius year-round, the walls of the structure absorb that thermal mass. Interior temperatures stay constant, always cool, never freezing, never warm. For the electric refrigerator, this is where American farms stored milk, butter, cream, fresh meat, eggs, and seasonal produce. The water in the trough kept jugs and jars cold by direct contact. The cool air kept other items fresh on shelves built around the walls. A spring house could keep dairy products fresh for a week or longer in the middle of summer. If your property has a flowing cold water source, whether a true spring, a creek, or even a pumped well that produces water below 12 degrees Celsius, you can build a small version of this. Stone, mortar, a flat roof, a simple door. Material costs between $200 and $500 depending on stone availability. Build time is a long weekend with help, or 2 weekends alone. If your property has no flowing cold water, the same effect can be approximated with a small earth-bermed structure built into a north-facing slope. Without the actively flowing water, you lose some of the cooling power, but the thermal mass of the earth still keeps interior temperatures significantly cooler than ambient air. Spring houses started disappearing in the 1930s as rural electrification reached American farms. By the 1950s, most had been abandoned and many had collapsed. The knowledge of how to build them remained alive in old farm manuals and in the actual stones of old structures still scattered across the rural eastern United States. Most common mistake when building a modern version is poor drainage. A spring house with stagnant water becomes a breeding ground for bacteria and mosquitoes. The water must flow continuously through the trough and exit through a clear outlet. If your source is only seasonal, build a different structure. But why do all 5 of these still exist as living traditions in other countries while being almost extinct in American backyards? The answer is the same answer this channel keeps arriving at. None of them have been banned. None of them are illegal. They have been made invisible by the slow accumulation of building codes, HOA covenants, insurance categories, appliance industry marketing, and a cultural shift that taught 2 generations of Americans that paying monthly for everything is the natural order of things. Family that builds a solar food dehydrator does not need to buy a freezer. A family that cooks on a rocket stove does not need a propane line. A family with a Zeer pot reduces their fridge dependency. A family with an earth oven cuts their grocery bill on bakery products and pizza. A family with a spring house eliminates a chest freezer. None of these structures generate recurring revenue for any utility company, any appliance manufacturer, or any maintenance contractor. That is precisely why none of them are advertised, financed, or recommended by any commercial channel. Materials are at hardware stores, garden centers, and brickyards. The instructions are in old books, in homesteading forums, and increasingly on YouTube. The land in your yard is the same land your great-grandparents had access to. The only thing standing between you and one of these projects is a single weekend and the willingness to build something that no salesperson is going to call you about.